This was a fucking failure on every level. And you got suck asses like that sit there and make excuses. And you know what they are? They're brokenhearted when their takes are shit. This is not going to be a show for the faint of heart. We're not having these bullshit conversations any longer. We are going to have a come to Jesus conversation. This is not going to be about victory laps. This is going to be about what happened. And this started in March of last year. This is not going to be any of that. Victory laps, your football team sitting next to the Jets. You played one more week than the Jets. Okay? With expectations of getting to Super Bowl 60. I see people in here doing, you were right, Silz. We were right in 22. We were right in 23. We were wrong massively in 24. We've been dead right the entire year. The only shitty prediction I had was that the Commanders would win the East. I thought they would. Because I never thought you were going to be a good football team. By the way, Big Z, you got to love this. I liked and I wrote a comment about Milton Williams. Go look on my X account. I said, you think the Eagles miss somebody like that guy too? He liked it. Milton was a beast last night. I went back and forth with him on our DMs, and I congratulated him on a great season and going into the divisional round with the Patriots. Over there, Hurts and Sirianni era, get in both and get a new quarterback and coach when the contracts allow. We're going to get to all this. Massive failure at every level. Every level for the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles. Massive failure. And you lose to the second worst team in the NFC playoffs. The second worst team in the San Francisco 49ers. But what you saw there, man, was spectacular coaching versus mediocre offensive coaching. It was mediocre at best. At best. The coach and AJ, no disrespect to Jeff Kerr, but somebody on the sidelines got to be the adult. If I've got a problem and I got a conscious issue with a guy, I'm going to take him in my office or in the locker room at halftime and say, I need better effort out of you. You connect with players when you're one-on-one. Not for 30 million people to see that bullshit. Someone's got to be the adult. But then again, Sirianni being the adult, that's why you got a bouncer on the sidelines in Big Dom to control his ass. He's infantile in many ways, Nick Sirianni. The quarterback. I'm sorry, guys. The quarterback, keep coming, you're almost there, is limited. So what do? You put a limited coordinator near him. How does that make sense? Silz, if Jalen didn't play asshole football, we would be prepping for the rapid dog Ben Johnson. Too bad Jalen decided to be selfish. Big Silz, as far as I see, the Eagles have two options. Laurie and Howie take the offense out of the hands of Sirianni and get rid of Hurts. That's the options. Limited. We are not going to listen to this bullshit any longer. A.J. Brown had 4 drops. I saw Brock Purdy throw into garbage cans. Garbage cans. And you're relying on your stars to bail you out? Brock Purdy was relying on garbage cans to win a football game. If your quarterback can't use Jahan Dotson, if one guy's not working, then you don't have a quarterback. AJ had 4 drops. Well, get someone else involved. Wait, he can't. The Niners had nobody. By the way, did he not give max effort on that play? You damn right he didn't. Looked like a business decision to me. That guy checked out 3 months ago. And by the way, when I told you this shit was going to continue, there it was in the NFC wildcard game. Most important part of your season. AJ and Nick and all the bullshit with your stupid offense rearing its head. Cost you in the biggest moments. Your unprofessionalism all over between the coach, the player, the inexperienced play caller. Hey, guys, guess what? I told you weren't a good team. You don't want to believe me. You were not a good team. You were a decent team. You thought you were this football team that resembled last year. You were not. You were never anywhere near the 22 or last year's team. I tried telling you. I took so much shit from people this year. You have no idea. You paid $200 million for a pile of shit. Our so-called leaders. On offense, where were they? Xander, I just missed 2 supers. Apologize to you guys. And I appreciate you being here today. And I know some of you, this is a hard conversation. Silz, is it a great decision to throw a ball to a 5'9" Jahan Dotson guarded by a 6-foot corner? Of course not. Let me apologize. Last night was a fucking mess. I think there you go, Xander. Thank you, brother. I super chatted after the Giants loss that we're going to be one and done in the playoffs with knee pad Nick's offense. You think I like telling you guys in the offseason you were one and done? Do you really think that makes me feel great? You're wrong. I told you were one and done. I thought you might get to the divisional round. I didn't think you were going anywhere. How did you? Based on what? Oh, and by the way, that postseason legacy stuff was bullshit. It never was a factor. Your experience was non-factor. What happened? Colossal disaster. How in the world are you outgained by them garbage pails? How are you outgained? I'm going to tell you what you need to do, and get this. What probably they're going to do. Oh, can we do this? Today is going to be the beginning of a media execution of A.J. Brown and Kevin Patullo. For some reason, you're going to feel like you're going to be better without either guy. When the main culprits are Nick and Jalen. Here comes the hard conversation. Okay? Here comes the hard conversation. You want to change your offense? You got to change the quarterback. You know how we know that? Nick Saban did it. Nick Saban knew it. You want to change the offense? You don't change the coordinator, you change the quarterback. No matter who you put in that seat, same shit, different day. Same shit, different day. You know, it's become even more apparent. Nick Sirianni is not a problem-solving head coach. You know why? If he doesn't have the right coordinator, he's a failure. What does that tell you? The coach can't fix problems. I saw Kyle Shanahan win a football game with Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy. And not one star on that offense could start in your huddle except two players, McCaffrey and the quarterback. That's it. Brock Purdy's more talented than Jalen Hurts in the pocket. He could do more with less. Your guy can't. Oh, and you got a heck of a play caller. Two things you don't have in Philly: a good quarterback in the pocket and a great play caller. Change what? How many coordinators are you going to go through before it ends up being you? It's like getting a divorce 18 times. I got to think it's the guy or the chick. How many times are you going to get divorced? This is like a divorce. It's embarrassing. So let's start, first and foremost, with Kevin Patullo. I don't blame a guy who's never been a head coach, a coordinator. Do you remember me going over his resumes? Do you remember me talking about Kevin Patullo's resume? Kevin Patullo's resume is littered with buddy jobs. Assistant to the receiver coach, assistant to the coordinator, assistant to the quarterback coach. These weren't legitimate jobs. And you gave that guy the keys to the offense of the defending Super Bowl champion? There's only one other way to read that. You know what it is? Well, we're not really going to change it. Barkley said it in the post game. You know what he said? We ran the same script of a year ago. That's why you hired a guy who's not qualified to be the coordinator, because all he did was he pulled out Kellen Moore's playbook of a year ago and went down the same line of 2024. The only problem was you were a lesser team. You used the same playbook you did a year ago, basically. Why not? What would the guy know about in-game play calling? I questioned that the first freaking day when he was named. I asked all of you. I love it, too, when I turn on the radio. All these narratives that I had in the offseason are magically all of a sudden, these guys are trying to change history. Like all of a sudden they now know, ooh, Hurts has got limitations. Ooh, the coach is not that hot. Ooh, the coordinator's not that good. You know what, man? I can't tell you. I had a guy on my X account tell me, hey, Silz, I'm going to come up with solutions here. You don't know the shit I've taken from everybody. Being too hard on the team. Saying things that, Silz, it doesn't really look. Well, when you got into a football game that mattered, you got beat by a shit can team. I took shit from all of you. Everyone. Every single person. Hey, but by the way, it's not victory lap shit. I wanted them to do well. Bro, Q handed Jalen Hurts 2 short field goals and got Diddy squat. The Niners had dudes named Wallow and Siegel. Last Siegel I saw was Steven Seagal. What the F? I got you, bro. Z, I missed the super. Guys, I appreciate these supers. It's going to get a little ugly here today. Because we going to call everybody out. I can't wait to see Angelo has to say. That's at 3:30. Make sure he got everybody here. Replace Sirianni, the offensive play caller, head coach, or have the same issues. That's right. Simple as that. I doubt it's fire Sirianni, so Kingsbury, Dable, or McDaniels. Bro, you're going to have this revolving door every year in Philadelphia. Every year in Philly, you're going to have this. So let's start first with Kevin Patullo. Kevin Patullo is a pawn. Fire him for what? He's not competent? Okay, we knew that. He's not a good play caller? Does it matter? Does it matter if he's a good play caller? This is Nick. The only way you're going to... Nick doesn't respect Hurts as a skill. Or you would never name somebody. Get this. How do you hire a guy like Vic Fangio on defense and then turn around and hire Kevin Patullo on offense? Based on what? Nick's recommendation? Since when is Nick a good coordinator? Since when? Based on what? Based on what? He was 2-4. When Brian Johnson and he took over, he was 13-11, and then this year you're 11-7 again. You're 24-18 with him at the head of the snake. You're 24-18. That's good. Based on what? Your head coach is a doorman. He has no answers for anything that goes wrong with that team. He had no answers for AJ this year. How do you think he handled AJ Brown all year? You think he actually told AJ Brown to sit the F down and be quiet? No way. That guy, I mean, dude, Nick Sirianni wasn't wrong to ask the guy for more effort in the game. It was his timing, which has been always awful. You should confront your player in the locker room. Bro, I need better effort out of you than that bullshit. I don't have a problem saying that either. Hey, we need better effort. Running down the sidelines like a scalded child is not a way to look as a head coach. What do you think this is? High school? That's Harry high school bullshit. These are professional men. Conduct yourself like one. Unbecoming of a head coach. He's not wrong in theory. His bullshit antics on the sideline. I've never seen a bulldog bodyguard on a sideline to control a coach in my entire time playing or covering a team. And by the way, I'm going to say this. 49ers look like they wanted it more than you. The 49ers look like they were playing with their hair on fire, diving for footballs. Brody was throwing some hospital balls out there. No way, man. They slayed the beast with nobodies. It was like David and Goliath watching it. I'm watching nobody, guys. Oh, and I mean, I brought this up on the postgame show. Did you not know that kid Jennings was a higher-rated recruit coming out of high school than Joe Burrow at quarterback? Look it up. He had a higher quarterback rating coming out of high school. Did you not know that? That he's capable of throwing the football down the field? Did you scheme for that? Sure didn't look it. Silz, now we know why 2023 happened. 2 collapses in 2 years. Somebody's got to go. What other coach acts like Nick? The D3 chalk sniffer. Hurts ain't no triple threat. Chili's triple dipper is more of a threat. That's funny. Hit the like button. Thank you for your supers. Kevin Patullo being fired. Who cares? Kevin Patullo is a sacrificial lamb. And because Philadelphia, let me tell you a little bit about you. You got to tar and feather somebody because it can't be your beloved Hurts or it can't be your beloved head coach. Some of you act like these guys are married to you. I thought you were loyal to the team. Why would you be loyal to players? The organization isn't. Players checked out like 23. This is Nick's issue. Clearly. Why are you not loyal to the team? Why are you so loyal to players? The organization's not. They fire guys all the time, move on from guys. How do you stop the revolving door if they don't fire Sirianni? They have to shop a head coach OC that does both. Brady, Clint Kubiak, etc. What do you think? I do think that's where you go. Vic probably loses years of his life listening to Nick and Patullo. We're now 0-2 ever since Nick was acting like an ass in the tunnels. How about this? I think Kyle Shanahan's 3-1 against you guys now. I think he's 3-1. 2021, 17-11. Eagles win in 22, 31-7, NFC title game. 42-19 in 23, Niners. And 26, 23-19. Shanahan's got the resume on the Eagles teams. He's 3-1. He's 3-1 versus that. You know why? Great coaching. Great coaching beats incompetent coaching. One thing I'm sure, and I hope you've learned from the Wild Card Spectacular Weekend, coaching in the NFL matters. Coaching in the NFL matters. Silz, every jersey I own has my name on it, except two, which is Barkley and Dawkins. I don't give a crap about players. I love that. Okay? Look at this. Get this. Awful takes all show long. Because this guy's a suck ass. He's an excuse machine. This was a fucking failure on every level. And you got suck asses like that sit there and make excuses. And you know what they are? They're brokenhearted when their takes are shit all year long. Bro, you were wrong all year long on everything. Okay? Everything you were wrong. Now let's get to the most important thing in the building. The quarterback. The quarterback is limited. Keep coming. Keep coming. Come on. Come on. Come on. You're almost there. Come on. You're almost there. Come on. This was never going to be a long-term experiment. Silz, what are the chances Nick pushes back on Patullo firing in the same way? Zero. He's a knee dragger. Every press conference, he's kissing Howie's ass. That guy ain't doing that. He's a politician, as John McMullen says. He knows how to play the politics. Let's go to your quarterback. He's limited. And you put a limited coordinator around him. Nick Sirianni's limited. I mean, who in their right mind? Don't you agree? If you don't know something, if I don't know something, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hire somebody that does. I'm not going to hire somebody who's less qualified than me on a topic. Why would I do that? How make sense of that? Make sense of that. And for the organization to okay that. Arrogance also is what cost the Eagles this year. Their arrogance. How many times have I said that you've left at least 2 Super Bowls on the table? Here's number 3. With that group of teams that are going to the divisional round, what a crime you're not in it. Super Bowl number 3, you've left on the table now. Super Bowl number 3. I mean, you've got 2 Super Bowls in 8 years. You should have at least 3 more. Get in your own way. The only way you are going to change your offensive approach, it's not by a coordinator. The only way you're going to change your approach in offense is changing the quarterback. Roll 2, I'm assuming tied. The right, Jalen Hurts. Elite. That's what we saw. An underachieving year with your elite quarterback. Silz, can Howie as the GM take the offense away from Nick and hire? He does. And hire an OC that will dictate to Jalen what the offense does versus Jalen telling the coach what he does, what he's doing. That's saying you're taking the offense out of Nick's. Hey, Riot, it's not about taking the offense out of Jalen's hands. It's about taking the offense out of Nick's hands. Nick Sirianni doesn't want the offense out of his hands. That's why you don't hire people like Vic Fangio on offense. Why don't you go out and make an offer to Kevin Stefanski? I know he's probably going to get a head job. Why don't you go hire a great-looking coordinator? Get Brian Callahan. He's a hell of a coordinator. Bring him in. No way. No way. That means the offense is out of Nick's hands. Your quarterback was never here for a long time. He ain't that guy. He's just not. Won an MVP. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's the Jim Plunkett of the Eagles. I don't see skill. In a game that you needed a guy to be exceptional in, he was common. That was a common performance. They needed more. He couldn't give it. Versus a team that had linebackers I'd never heard of. I mean, I saw Josh Allen carry a football team across the finish line against a very talented Jaguars team. He had nobody on that team but Cook and him. Cook and him. And he goes down into Jacksonville, puts up 300 yards of total offense. He carries his team across the finish line. That's carrying your fucking football team. Jalen couldn't carry his team. You guys are blaming AJ for the game? What did Purdy have to play with? This guy loses Kittle in the ball game. He's got one dude in the game. You have all those talented players, and you couldn't do squat with them. Quarterback's limited. Play caller's limited. Head coach is limited. Howie Roseman, I told you this. That team wins because of Howie Roseman, not because of your shitty coaches on offense. The only coach that's worth a shit is Stoutland. The rest of them are pedestrian. What I'm saying is we've heard all year Hurts doesn't want to do this and can't. And OC telling Jalen, you will run the offense. I'm with you. I don't know either, Riot. Hurts, RPO one read quarterback. Told you that in 22. Doesn't want to run the ball anymore. Then he's limited. Not a great talent. Coaches that can't make a system to Hurts' strength. Last year, lightning in a bottle. Wasted roster this year. Oh, yeah. This is a wasted opportunity. Lost. One of your Super Bowl window years. Wasted. Out. Coaching. Execution. Personnel. All of it. And you gave him the benefit. Well, here, that benefit's gone now. You have no fucking benefit. There is no benefit. Okay? There is no benefit. You know, benefit? You want to change the offense? Fire the quarterback. Wait, you can't. So, quarterback stays. It's like an anchor around your neck. Same shit, same bat channel. See you next year. Nothing changes. You think that guy's going to all of a sudden evolve into some passing guy? You're out of your tree. That guy's never that guy. Never will be that guy. I told you this in 22. That's the best hurt you'll ever see. And it's been played out that way. Can Frank help out? Or is that chapter closed? They're going to do everything to help Nick. You keep missing it, guys. By the way, Freddie, I appreciate the super. Thank you, guys. Listen, you keep missing it here. You keep missing it. Help what? Help Nick, you mean, not Jalen. They're destroying. Jalen Hurts is one thing he does well. You know what they're destroying now? His winning. Now they're destroying his winning. Shitty coaching. Do you believe that the players at their meeting say that they want Nick gone? Would Jeffrey and Howie get rid of him? I would think the players are beginning to turn on him. No way. Players in an NFL locker room? When you're in a comfort zone? Can I tell you the most important thing that Jimmy Johnson used to give his guys? Nobody's job was safe. No matter who you were. If you weren't Aikman, Emmett, or Michael, nobody's job was safe. And Jimmy made you know that. Nobody's job was safe. It's not a sense of urgency in there. Why? Because Howie's the most valuable person in the organization, and Howie has the most autonomy, and Howie is with more power in Nick's locker room than the head coach. This is kind of a Jerry Jones situation in a way. Silz, I just want to give you a shout out. Thanks for covering this team. You're honest and fair. Though you do make me mad at times, I do appreciate you. A lot of love to you too, Leon. Bro, when I do my style of radio and I do my style of broadcasting, believe me, I know. I make every single person around me cringe. Everybody. From my bosses down to you. I know that. It's called fucking conviction. In our locker room, the O suck. What does Nick even do? Funny. Now it's an echo chamber. Thank you for the super. So what changes do you think need to happen on the O-line, if any? I promise you, it's not just going to be a bitching match here. We're going to go into what has to happen. Now let me get to AJ. I'm going to write 3 names down. How many people think you're going to be better next year? Without Lane Johnson, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goedert on offense and another coordinator. You think you're going to be better next year? No Lane, no A.J., and no Goddard. Based on what? You lost the benefit of the doubt. Based on what? Based on what? Do you think they're going to have an epiphany and the football team offensively is going to morph into some sort of what? What do you believe the offense is going to be next year? A running attack? Passing attack? Hoss, as long as Jalen Hurts is your quarterback, be prepared for the same. What's Jalen say? Main thing's the main thing. You're running it back with lesser talent or inexperienced talent. A.J. Brown not being on this team doesn't make you better. Let me say something to you here. Michael Irvin and Jimmy Johnson. Michael Irvin is a handful. But he made it work. Andy Reid and T.O., they couldn't make that work. This just lasted longer with more results with AJ than with Owens. And Owens was more public. AJ has held his tongue. Owens couldn't. There's no difference. You get rid of A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown hasn't lost a step. The offense has. So let me get this right. Barkley's lost a step. A.J.'s lost a step. Devontae Smith has lost a step. And none of these guys are 30. Okay. Gee, really? Every one of these guys have lost a step. Maybe it's the offense. Maybe it's the approach. Maybe it's the quarterback. You guys are now blaming one guy. So Philly. It's his fault. No, it's not. It's collective fault. Then you say fire the quarterback, it'll be a different offense. But when Tanner was in there, you said it was the same offense. Still looked bad. How is it a quarterback thing? Hey, my friend. Who said Tanner McKee's the fucking guy? Who said Tanner's the guy? I missed 2 blue ones, Z. 2 blue super chats. If we can get those here, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. We'll get those up if we can. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Guys. You want to change the offense? Change the quarterback. Hiring a new OC is going to result in what? Like what? It's the quarterback. You don't want to have these tough convos. You think getting rid of A.J. Brown's going to make Jalen Hurts better? Brown will be good with a coach he respects like Vrabel. Yeah. Yeah. And a quarterback he respects. A.J. Brown doesn't not like Jalen Hurts. He hates his skill set. What did you think you were going to do this year, really? Super Bowl? Parade floats? I feel bad for some of you. You really vested a lot this year. You said before the game, Tanner fits better. He does. He fits Nick better because Nick's only dealt with drop-back quarterbacks. If you're talking about skill set, and by the way, Tanner McKee was throwing to guys that Brock Purdy was throwing to. Think about that. So when you guys take a shit on Brock Purdy was throwing almost to the same type of guys that Tanner McKee was throwing to when he started that game against the Commanders. And Brock Purdy beat you with him. Brock Purdy beat you with people I've never heard of. There. Like, who are these guys? Demarcus Robinson, I had to look him up. Jennings is a decent player. Look at these guys. Jake Tongues? Malik Turner? Who the fuck are these guys? And they beat you with them. Wow. Embarrassing. If we don't change the quarterback, then we need to change the coach. Correct. And OC for Jalen. Right. Okay. One or the other. Hire John Harbaugh and bring in Todd Monken. Perfect. Never happened. You're not wrong, Mikey. That's exactly right. Okay? Can't move off of Hurts. You're stuck with this guy. He's an anchor around your organization. So, help make him better instead of Nick better. It's Nick or him. But it'll be neither. It'll be AJ and KP. The two wrong guys. I'm not saying Kevin Patullo shouldn't be demoted or fired. He should have never been in the place in the beginning. He was not qualified. How many times did I tell you that he was not qualified to be the head football coach of the Philadelphia Eagles? How many times did I say that to you? You guys didn't want to hear that shit, man. Kevin Patullo. Guys, get this. After Xander told me the guy was in the league 13 years as a pro, quality control coach, assistant and quality control coach in Kansas City, quality control coach in Buffalo, quality control coach and the assistant to the assistant wide receiver in Buffalo, the assistant wide receiver coach. That's not a gig. Quarterback coach at A&M. That's not pros. Wide receiver coach in Indianapolis. That's a job. Okay? Pass game specialist. That's not a job. It's not a position coach. Pass game coordinator. That's not a position coach. Pass game coordinator and assistant to the head coach. Those aren't fucking jobs. Those are like ass-kissing jobs. Silz, the biggest issue is that you trust this organization to develop a quarterback. They messed up Wentz, and now they're doing the same thing to Jalen Hurts. Kyle, I agree. Not coaching him. Will we hire competent offensive coaches? As long as Nick's there? No. No. Did you read that resume I read you? Where in your right mind did you think that guy was qualified? Because he was sitting getting Krellers and coffee and parking Nick's car and Howie's car? That he was the OC of that team? Based on what? Right. GQ. Intern jobs. That's what they were. Somehow that guy went from an intern being the OC to Jalen Hurts. No wonder when Jalen's walking over the sidelines going, what are you talking about? That we're going to throw that play on fourth down? I'd rather have had Jalen Hurts. By the way, why don't you go for the first down? Get it closer so you can use his wheels. Silz, what do you think about going and getting Eric Bieniemy? Eric Bieniemy is not what that team needs. They need someone like Ben Johnson. Look at what Ben Johnson's doing with Caleb Williams. That guy has changed that guy's life. But that means Nick then is irrelevant. Do you understand? If you hire a high-profiled coordinator, it means Nick's irrelevant. What's his gig? Remember what I told you with Cliff Kingsbury? And that whole fiasco was going on. And he took the Washington job. He took the Washington job because he wasn't going to be given autonomy of the offense. Kellen Moore was given autonomy because Nick was coming off of 23. He said, we got to run the ball. Hurts, Can you imagine having private meetings behind Jalen Hurts' back as a staff going, we can't throw the ball. We got to run it. That's what they did in 24. Wow. Let me ask you this. Do you really believe that Nick Sirianni trusts Jalen Hurts to win games from the pocket? No way. Yeah, but Caleb can actually throw the ball, unlike Noodle Arm. Yeah. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. So the Eagles will be better without AJ? I'd rather fire Nick than get rid of AJ. AJ Brown is still a stud player. AJ Brown knows Nick's not a good coach. No one wants to say it. By the way, I have not heard anybody defend Nick's actions on the sidelines when it comes to the players. That AJ needs to act like I've not heard any of that. Have you? Maybe I missed it. Did any teammate call AJ out for his not talking to the media after or on the sidelines? Has any teammate said anything? Did anybody? Did anybody not? Did anybody go after AJ? Fire Nick and hire a play-calling head coach. Can you imagine Kevin Stefanski with that talent? Not having to work with the bullshit he had to work with Jimmy Haslam in Cleveland? Guarantee you he'd get the best out of Hurts. Nick Sirianni, man, is George Seifert. And you don't want to believe it. He's a non-problem solver. But you don't want to hear it still. Don't worry, it's coming. His ending is coming. Why did everyone have an intern besides Bobo? I don't know. I find this conversation unbecoming because, look, I'm talking about non-qualified guys when I talk about Kevin Patullo. He was never qualified. John McMullen went to the hilt and still does for that guy. I mean, for what? But then again, to John's point, he's irrelevant. This is a bigger issue. This is the quarterback. If the quarterback and head coach can't agree, one of them has to go. It ain't the quarterback. Nick Sirianni is getting in the way of success that could be greater success into a dynasty. You know who your dynasty killer is? It's Nick Sirianni. You have a chance for a dynasty. Nick Sirianni's a dynasty killer. You should at least be in the NFC Championship game. With the people that are in the NFC, how is San Francisco there in the divisional round? Nick Sirianni's a dynasty killer. 1 year fired, next year Super Bowl. 1 year fired, next year Super Bowl. Tell me I'm wrong. Have you ever seen two coordinators fired in 3 years with a team that went to the Super Bowl 2 years out of the 3? Have you ever seen that before? I've never seen that before. Let's take a look at Jalen Hurts, too, and his journey as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. What year was he drafted? 20? Who was his coordinator? Press Taylor? Press Taylor. That was what, 2020? Right? 21. Nick first. And then, right, it became Shane. Shane was in 22. Then 23, you had Brian Johnson. 24, you had Kellen. 25, you had KP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shit, the guy's only been in the league 6 years. He's had 6 coordinators. You tell me how that's developing him. 6 different views of how to push the offense. What's been the one common denominator in the building besides the 2020 year? Nick is the one common denominator. Silz, is it possible Hurts could help facilitate a trade to a new team for them for the betterment of both parties? Love the show, I believe. Big fan of the honesty. Thank you very much. Dual threat gamble. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Jalen Hurts doesn't want to leave Howie Roseman. Why? Howie Roseman's going to put talent around Jalen. I wouldn't leave that. For who? The Browns? Why would I want to go anywhere if I'm Jalen? You know, when Jalen left Alabama, where'd he go? He went to Lincoln Riley and OU. You think that guy was going to go to where? Oklahoma State? You guys not transferring to shitty places like that. He's going where high-quality places are. Steelers? Steelers make a trade for him? The Eagles aren't. Dude, stop with the trade. No trade clause in contract. Jalen's nowhere near that where he wants out. Why would he? I wouldn't. Hey, you want to stick with Howie as much as you can. Nick's the problem. Always has been. I kept you asking the questions all the time. What's his gig? What's his job? He shows you he doesn't have a job. Every down year. Hey, by the way, next year, without AJ, without Lane, and without Goddard, and an older Barkley, and an older Landon, and an older Cam, he got a lot of work to do. Sacrificial lambs right now in Philly. KP, AJ Brown. That's why you lost. You're fucking high. You really think that's why you lost? This was a deep-seated issue that's gone on all year, and it really was even last year. And AJ bit his tongue because the Lombardi trophy was hoisted. If you had lost, it would have facilitated the same way, but it didn't. It's scapegoat time. Thank you, Michael. It's scapegoat time. Who can we pin this on the donkey? Oh, low-hanging fruit. KP. Hanging it on a guy who's not qualified? That's not solving your problem. That's not solving your problem. The quarterback and the head coach are not on the same page. Look at how they call the games. Look who they hire. Guys, it's not an opinion. Look at their actions. Take a look at their actions. Silz, I need your Ackerman. The last play of the game, they took time out. Salah was in quarters coverage. Should they have thrown to the flat? I would have thrown for the first down. You still had some seconds left on the clock, and you had a timeout left. Then you could have given the option of run or thrown it into the end zone. I wanted them to get closer, get the first down. You had 8 or 9 seconds. At least get this. Put Salah on his back where the quarterback could have. I thought, you know what I really did think? I thought Hurts was going to run that fucker in to win the game. But he was too far out. I thought he was going to run that ball in. I said they were driving down there. They were getting there. I thought they were going to get close enough, and that was going to give them the option. But no way. They didn't get close enough. That was the key. Don't let them inside the red zone to give Jalen that option to get it in there. I didn't think Jalen was throwing for the touchdown to win the game. I thought he was going to run it in to win the game, like he did against Buffalo. I thought he was, nope, no way. They panicked on that play. Guy's walking over to the sideline. Okay? Walked over to the sideline. He looked at the guys and go, that's the play you're calling? Okay? Listen. I thought about that last night, Michael. It's funny. You know what? So I heard Angelo Gargano on. It's like almost like this guy's been watching my show the last couple days. All of a sudden now, my takes are his takes. My takes are the WIP takes. It's funny. It's kind of funny to watch. And then you know what they'll do? I thought about it all the time. I knew this guy sucked. I knew this was going to happen. You're like, did you really? That's not what I heard for 6 months. That's not what I heard. Those aren't the emails that Xander was getting every day. That's not what was going on. Not true. This guy's past his time. He can't see the game. Sileo doesn't know what he's watching. His takes suck. All but one were true. Silz, that's too much thinking for Hurts and him. I don't want Jalen Hurts thinking. He's an RPO guy. Big salami stick, Silz. I'm not a happy camper after the loss, but well, what are you going to do? Great question. What do you do? Let's get to that. Bitching? I told you so? That's boring, dude. What do you do next? Now, do you guys want to think like the Eagles? Or do you want to think common sense-wise? There's two ways of looking at this. How do you think the Eagles are going to act, and how should they act? Oh, I can't wait for Jalen Hurts Appreciation Day. Are we doing that again? Oh, I can't wait to get Angelo on at 3:30. My God, please. Thank you, God. There's still people like that. Thank God. And not glazed donuts. Thank God. Ass kissing radio. Tell you what, we get to those days, you got it. I'm out. You want to sit around glazed donut people? I'm out. Not me. No way. Truth, justice, baby. The Big Silz way. If it ain't that way, I don't want to do it. I thought on a platform I could talk like that, but you know what? Even some of you guys get fucking bent out of shape. Doesn't matter where I talk. Pathetic. Pathetic. You're supposed to love your team. The players, stop acting like they're your wives or your husbands or something. Fuck the players. It's about your team being better. This is the pros. How in the world do you get so tied up with these players when the organizations don't get tied up with these players? They'll cut a guy in 10 seconds. They let Milton walk out the building and didn't give a shit about it. Didn't think twice about it. Why should you care? I thought it was about Eagle Green. The civic pride of your team and your colors. That's why college football has a lot of love to it. Because you know why? Players come and go. Graduation classes every 4 years. You know, there's a remedy to that. You love Bama. You love Miami. You're loyal to it. Not loyal to a dude. What to do? Here. Well, here's the common thing to do. If you're Jeffrey Lurie and you're Howie Roseman, you're having private meetings. Do we want to go forward with the way we're doing business? Number one question. And the answer is going to be yes. How do we pivot? What do we have to do to make it better? What's the number one thing we have to do? Well, we have to address the coach and the quarterback. Because you know why? Howie's not going to address the roster. He built it. Howie doesn't think there's anything wrong except for the aging fact of the O-line. You know what he's going to say? Style of play. Age that O-line like dogs. The first thing he's going to address is O-line. He's going to address it in the draft, and then you have to address free agency with money. And the guys you have on your team now. It's going to be a very expensive offseason for the Eagles. High-quality picks and money on defense. You got three dudes you got to decide to do. And if not, are you going to go after Max Crosby? How do you get yourself better? Vic Fangio is the star of the whole entire organization. So, Silz, the whole month of September was an outlier starting 4-0. You were spot on this year. Vindicated from eating shit last year. How you doing? 7-7 since September. And that's not a drink. Liars Month. You bought it again. You bought Liars Month. I kept pointing out who you beating. Who are you beating? You're not beating anybody. Then he came out of the Raider games and the Giant games. And you thought you had momentum. I'm like, the second half of the Buffalo game showed me you're still the team. And that's the team that played 4 quarters of football on Sunday. The second half of Buffalo was the entire game against San Francisco.